Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to today's edition, Coffee, Tea, You and Me. I am Coach Powell. This program is one of many video programs that I do throughout the weeks and months to highlight and improve the activities and the opportunities that is small business in the USA. For those of you who know me, you know I'm in love with minority businesses. Small women and minority owned businesses are my life. They are my commitment. Um, these are the entrepreneurs and business leaders that I pledge my service to. And today I want to talk to you about the reasons I do that. And just briefly before we get into today's discussion, because I think it's important to know that over 80% of the global business population is small businesses. By and large, they employ a large part of the global economy. And the US is no different. And so, in supporting small businesses, anything that you could do, whether you're a lawyer, a CPA, a coach, a mentor, a friend, an associate, whatever you want to call yourself, an advocate, what you're doing in effect is providing opportunities, information, connections within the global business community, in fact, the global community. Now, my little piece of the corner here in the United States of America, in Northern Virginia, I am happy to occupy and occupy well. I'm currently on the board for the Virginia Association of Black Businesses, the Virginia Black Business Chamber, and I'm also on the board for the local Fairfax County NAACP. I've served on many boards, all with the focus of creating economic development opportunities for small women and minority owned enterprises in one way or another. And I've done this now for going on 30 years, right? So this is important to me. A lot of these plaques behind the walls are honors and achievements that I've received in that mission. But today I am truly humbled and thankful for the efforts of an organization that supports me and supports me well. I am also the Bigger and Better Business Chairman for the Theta Tau Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. And as the Bigger Better Business Chairman, again, my job is to support the economic development, the financial welfare, the strategic opportunities that small businesses in this particular area get to achieve. And we have lots of programs that support those issues and initiatives. And one of those programs is the one you're looking at right now. The brothers have been so kind to endorse and to literally support the efforts that I put together to make sure the small business communities are taken care of, are fed exceptionally well, the resources, the tools, and the connections that they need to be fed in order to thrive. Now, I understand that we're in a tough spot right now in many different ways. The government seems to want to put aside any opportunities that would advance small women, minority owned enterprises. And there are reasons, good and bad. I'm not going to get into those reasons because I also believe that where there is opposition, there is also opportunity, right? Um, to say that you want things to be merit based seems to be fair on its face, right? When you look at it, it seems to be fair. We want to be merit based. We want to make sure that everybody is treated and worked with according to their abilities. And that reminds me of a thought process. I think it comes from the Bible that we are each given gifts and talents according to our abilities. And we are to deploy those gifts and talents in a way that glorify God, not the individual, but God. God who loves us all. And if you think about those parables that you might read in the book of Matthew, those of you who are Bible readers, you must understand that merit, from a biblical perspective, is assumed. It is assumed that God has given us all talents and abilities. And all of those talents and all of those God-given talents and abilities are worthy of the ability to serve others in the name of Almighty God. So bring on the merit because everybody's worthy. Bring on the opportunities because everybody is worthy. Bring on the strategy because everybody is worthy. Today's program, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about planning. We're going to talk about the value of planning, why planning is essential to any opportunity that you may think of to thrive. Now, I'm going to read you a story. The story is a fictitious story. It is made up of quite a few clients and friends that I've been able to uh, accumulate and be a part of over these many years. But the story tells the point. And before we get into the story, I'm going to set the stage with some thoughts, some words of wisdom that come from some of the greats that you might want to think about reading and making a part of your library in terms of what you understand and how you understand how to move forward and to grow and to benefit yourself and others. I think it's important for us to, at this in these tumultuous times, to get back to the basics of what makes our business relevant, the basis of what makes our talents and gifts have the ability to thrive, the communities that we need to serve, and the people that need to be blessed by the blessings that we've already received. And so here's my attempt to start to reframe some of the ideas that some of you all may be dealing with and it's rolling around in your life. How are we going to make it? What are we going to do? How are we going to bounce back? How are we going to prepare ourselves for the opportunities that may or may not be coming down the pike in the future? All of it, all of it, your ability to even thrive in the face of adversity, in the face of opposition, in the face of challenge, revolves around your ability to not just plan, but to execute your plan extremely well. But you got to start with a good plan. It's almost like every good movie, every good book, every good presentation of any type starts with a written word. It starts with your ability to codify it, to write it down. And the question of the day is, do you have a well-written, brilliantly articulated plan that will guarantee your success over the next 30, 40, 50 years? Do you have a plan that will lock in whatever notion that you have of satisfaction, of joy, of thriving, that will preserve, create, and preserve your legacy? Do you have it? And if you don't, why not? And if you do, are you paying attention to it? Are you making adjustments to it? Are you pivoting in the places where you need to pivot? So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about planning. Like I said, I said earlier, we're going to set the stage for some big ideas from some great people. But then we're going to get into the story of my friend Joseph. Joseph is an architect, and Joseph was a successful architect here in the area who was experiencing some challenges. But first, let's talk about planning. Warren Buffett, genius that he is, says, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. And I ask you, when you think about that statement, you think about that quote, what are you locking in? What are you investing in? What are the seeds you're planting today that you know for a fact are going to bloom in the future? You're not guessing, you know it. What is it? What is it for you? What's on your heart? Peter Drucker says, plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. Plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. You can have all the plans in the world. If they don't inspire you, if they don't excite you in your teams, if they don't motivate you, if they don't bring you joy, if they don't involve, you being willing to not make the sacrifice, but make the investment of your time, talent, and treasure, of the time, talent, and treasure of others. Is it a good enough plan yet? Or do you need to go back to the drawing board? That's yours to decide, right? It's yours to decide when to stop planning and when to get in and get to work. But you're going to have to get in. You're going to have to do the work. One of my favorite Oprah Winfrey says, I don't believe in failure. It's not failure if you enjoy the process. Let me repeat it to you. I don't believe in failure. It's not failure if you enjoy the process. So think about that. Where are you providing that woe is me excuse to yourself and to others about what's going on now? You know, um, I have nothing personally that I could say I am regretful of doing, accepting, strategizing around, creating. I'm not afraid or guilty or experiencing any type of blame or shame for anything I've done in my professional life, right? Well, why is that? Because I stand on the values and the virtues that I used to create all the success that I've currently created. And I've embedded those values and those ideas into not just my plan or my goal achievement, my strategy, but my daily walk. If we're good, if you have any questions, we'll get into that a little bit later. But let me get into Joseph's story. Joseph is a wonderful 32-year-old architect, and he found himself standing at the intersection of ambition and clarity. His days were filled with blueprints, CAD designs, but his nights were often restless, tangled with thoughts of unfulfilled potential and despair. Despite his impressive portfolio and successful business, Joseph felt that there was something amiss. He felt that there was a gap between his dreams and what he wanted to have and the reality that he was experiencing. Can any of you identify with that thought process? No matter how special you are, no matter how talented you are, things just aren't working the way you want them to work. Well, I guarantee you today, in the world we live in right now, that is a truth for a lot of us. But let's get back to Joseph. One evening, as Joseph was sipping an espresso in his favorite cafe, he stumbled upon a group of business leaders that was moderated by yours truly. And we were having a public discussion of the power of vision and mission when it comes to business. And for Joseph, it was like a revelation. He realized that while he had been excellent at crafting physical spaces, but he never truly divined the intangible framework of his own business. Determined to change this, Joseph decided to take a step backward and outline his vision, his mission, his goals, his objectives, and the people that he needed to be connected to and deeply connected to make a difference. He decided to make his vision and mission a blueprint for success. He spent weeks delving into his aspirations and values. He envisioned his firm not just a place that designs buildings, but as a transformative force that positively shapes the community and the environment. His mission became clear: to create sustainable, innovative, and beautiful spaces that resonate with the human spirit. His newfound clarity helped him set specific, measurable goals. He aimed to reduce the carbon footprint of his projects by 50% over the next 5 years and to incorporate green roofs and urban gardens into at least 70% of his designs. He also wanted to expand his team with like-minded professionals who shared his vision. He aligned with external environmental and internal capabilities. Understanding that the external factors could influence his plans, Joseph began to study market trends, environmental regulations, and community needs. He also evaluated the strengths and weaknesses within his firm. His dual approach allowed him to align his goals with the external environment and the internal capabilities that he knew he and his team had already. He invested in advanced software and training for his teams, ensuring that they were equipped with everything they needed to handle the ambitious projects ahead. He took a long view and used patience and perseverance. You see, Joseph knew that achieving his goals wouldn't happen overnight. He embraced the long view. He understood that true success requires not just the kind of patience where you just stand around and wait, but perseverance, grit, right? And he worked tirelessly, often burning the midnight oil, but he never lost sight of the ultimate vision. Challenges arose from regulatory hurdles to his design revisions, but Joseph faced each one with resilience and a clear sense of purpose. The most important aspect of Joseph's journey is this one: he enjoyed the process. And my friends, that is the key to happiness. Amidst the hard work that Joseph discovered, it was important that he took the time to celebrate the small victories, every single one of them, like the completion of a new project, the planting of the first urban garden. He fostered a supportive and creative work environment and encouraged his teams to find joy in their daily task. Every day was a celebration in his firm. Joseph himself found happiness in seeing his vision come to life, one project at a time. There was a legacy of clarity and joy that Joseph was able to provide his team. Over the years, the firm became renowned for its innovative and sustainable designs. He was able to clearly set a path, a vision, and mission that not only propelled his business to new heights, but also made a lasting impact in the community and the environment. Joseph's journey taught him that success is not just about achieving goals, but about enjoying the path that you take to get there. Now, I'm proud of Joseph because Joseph was actually one of the first clients to experience the magic of the VisionQuest 90 process. And what I love about the VisionQuest 90 process, and I've only refined this over the years, is his brilliant planning and execution capabilities. You see, Joseph benefited because he had a wonderful source of encouragement. He provided that encouragement to the entire business community. His story became a testament to not only what the VisionQuest process is and does, but to the power of clarity, hard work, finding joy in the journey. This is a legacy that would inspire many architects and entrepreneurs for generations to come. So I met Joseph 25 years ago when I first began my coaching process. And I began my coaching process because I needed to create a strategy, a tool, given all that I'd learned from so many different scions of business in the world um, over the years of my time as a financial advisor. I needed to embrace a strategy and a process that would launch my business, and I have to say successfully it's done that. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have ideas about what you want to do and what you have done in your business, drop that information in the chat. Don't keep yourself or your ideas secret. Make sure that you let us know who you are, where you're coming in from, what you think about the story, what you think about Joseph's story. I'd like to hear your thoughts and ideas about it. I know that some of you are going to watch this later on and you're going to watch it on demand, whether it's going to be on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you engage. Your thoughts and your ideas have to have a space and they have to matter. Your voice matters. So definitely share your thoughts, your ideas, any questions that you might have as a result of hearing Joseph's story. Because now what I want to talk to you about are literally the kinds of strategic processes and things that you need to do to get the kind of benefits that Joseph received, right? I want to talk to you about these benefits and how important these benefits are to entrepreneurs, to business leaders. And there's a process that I create, another process. I create processes and strategies and training programs all the time, right? I'm up at night thinking about a better way to show somebody how to do something. Always. It's just how my brain works and how my life works. I'm a teacher at heart, but I'm also a thinker and a philosopher, right? Kind of thing. But these benefits, when people ask you, why do you have these plans that you're trying to create? It should be to receive these 7 planning benefits. You should have a plan because one, you want to help create clarity and focus for yourself and for people that you work with. You should have a plan because two, you want the most efficient and effective process to greater amounts of productivity. You should create a plan because number 3, you need to enhance and streamline your decision making. You should create a plan because number 4, you want to improve your communication and therefore your ability to successfully collaborate with others. You should want to create a plan because you should want a greater impact and legacy in everything that you are and everything that you do. Number 6, you should create a plan because you want to increase your motivation and engagement with your team, with the suppliers, with people that you work with in every way, shape, or form, every stakeholder you can come up with, whether it's a supporter, an investor, a referral source, whatever. And lastly, number 7, you should create a really good plan if you ever want to achieve a competitive advantage in the marketplace that you've chosen. So let's get into it for a second. Let's talk about some of these things, some of these ideas. We might not be able to get through everything today because I want to make sure that we end the show on time. But think about these some of the ideas that we're gonna launch into today. And if you can, put it in the chat how you hope to achieve these things. I told you the 7 key ideas. and we might continue this exercise next week, but pick the 7 key concepts or the benefits that you want to achieve in your plan and share them. In fact, I'm going to do you a good favor and I'm going to put those 7 key ideas in the chat right here. Boom, there it is. So that's it. Those are the 7 ideas. Which ones are most important to you? I mean, you don't have to share them with us, but I want you to think about it. Of the benefits of planning, which ones are most important to you? I know they're all important to you, but which ones are most important to you right now? I put my team through this exercise at Coffee Tea, You and Me, not Coffee Tea, You and Me, the round table earlier this week on Tuesday, and it was a phenomenal discussion. And I would suggest that you pick the one that's most important to you and go share that benefit with your stakeholders, all of them, and start asking the question, how can we do this? How can we become better at this? What do we need to do to make sure that we have better and greater communications and collaborations? What do we need to do to make sure that we are increasing motivation and engagement? How do we develop a keener, more appropriate competitive advantage? Because all the benefits are important, but which one is more important to you right now? That's a good exercise for you to do, for you to reflect on. And if you want to come back next week and even share some of the thoughts and some of the things that you came up with, I really would appreciate that. I think it would be an engaging conversation. I know it'll be a engaging conversation because we did it live with a whole group of friends of mine just last Tuesday. So, let's bring it to the Coffee Tea You and Me artists and see what we do. Let's get into a little bit more about these benefits and how these benefits kind of play out and why they're important. Number 1, clarity and focus. You can better claim that you have vision alignment when every action and every decision is guided by a clear understanding of your destiny, where you're trying to go, where you believe you're called to be, do, and have, right? And it creates a unified direction. You have alignment to your vision. It makes everything much better. It allows you to look at both your short and your long-term goals and ask yourself the question, is this moving us forward in the direction we intend? Is it moving us forward in the direction that we understand is clear for us to go? The more you develop that clarity and focus, the better you're going to be able to refine and reinforce your purpose, to motivate everyone around you, and to foster a sense of shared purpose and commitment. Clarity and focus is very important for you to get, to maintain, to benefit from, and helping and creating the right kinds of plan will help you get there. Right? I'm not talking about the kind of plan that you give to the bank and you after you get the investment or the loan or whatever it is you're doing, right? You put that on the shelf and you never look at it again. I'm talking about the one that's vital to your ability to achieve and grow in clarity and focus. The next ideal concept of benefit that you need to achieve is efficiency and productivity. You want a plan that aligns not just with your vision and mission, but with the goals. You want the goals that you put in that plan to be in harmony with your vision and mission, right? So that you can channel efficiently all of the resources and you don't waste time, energy, talent in the pursuit of what you're doing because you have that, you've achieved that alignment. We're going to get into a whole section on alignment and why alignment is important in later weeks. But a good plan is always going to help you create that alignment such that you are more efficient and more productive. It's going to help you form the right kinds of habits, right? And in forming these habits with your daily activity, your daily walk, the grind, if you want to talk about the grind, or whatever it is that you do regularly and consistently, you want it to support your goals, you want it to maintain your progress, you want it to help achieve your objectives and overall increase your effectiveness. The third thing you're going to want your plans to do are enhance your decision making. And I can't emphasize anything more than this. All right. You are getting bombarded every day with opportunities, meetings you can go to, things you can attend, processes you can achieve. There's all new things you need, books you have to read, articles to pay attention to. The news is glaring and disgusting, and it gives you, a lot of pressure. The realities that you have to feel face can be overwhelming. So, but you got to make decisions. You got to make decisions about priorities, what you're going to pay attention to. You got to make decisions about initiatives, what you're going to focus on, right? So when you have a great plan, it helps you. It helps to inform your choices. It helps you to align your planning, and provides a framework for your decision making. This framework is consistent with your core values, your long-term objectives, and it leads to better, more strategic choices, right? You can adapt much better and be more resilient when you have a good plan to start with, right? You can plan inside of your plan. You can plan to adjust and adapt as you experience obstacles, changes, challenges, things that are in front of you, things that you can control, things you can't control. You still have got to make some adjustments, right? But you always, no matter what the adjustments are that you have to make, you want to maintain um, the trueness of your vision and mission. And you want to ensure that you have what it takes to face the challenges. But again, you can't if you don't start with a good, solid plan that helps you make the right decisions along the way. The next area of impact that your planning should have is improved communication and collaboration. You're not going to do very much if you do not have clear messaging. What are you saying? What are you doing because of what you said? Or what are you saying because of what you do? That is in alignment with the kinds of communications, the keyword strategy, the both internal and external communications that are consistent in terms of how your core values and goals are reflected on an ongoing basis. You need to be able to speak to it, because when you can speak to it and you can back that up with the right actions, what is created around you is higher and more increasing levels of trust and transparency. People can see what you're doing because you say what you're doing. You say why you're doing it. You say, where we're going. As a leader, your job is to guide and direct, right? Not just the people you have right now, but the people you're going to have in the future. So you need to be really, really good about speaking to and being able to speak to. Here's where I'm going. Here's the purpose I'm getting there. Here's the mission. Here's the reason why I'm doing it. Here are the tools I'm going to need. Here are the resources I'm going to need. Here are the resources I already have. When you can have that kind of transparency, you can have that kind of trust, I promise you're going to have the strong connections that you're going to need to build with your stakeholders, with your partners, with your community. And you're going to be more effective with everyone because everyone's going to understand and know what they're supporting when they say they're going to support you. The next area of benefit that you're going to be able to have with your good plans is you're going to have a greater impact and legacy. You're going to have long-term successes, right? Because you're going to be properly aligned and your process is going to be properly aligned to the positions and leaders that you need to achieve sustainable success and a lasting legacy. Your plan itself will ensure that your organization's impact extends beyond the immediate result. And you're going to have greater community empowerment. Now, I know a lot of you all didn't start your business to have an impact in the larger community. That's not what you did. You maybe had a product or service that you thought you were excellent at, and then you decided to start a business. But no matter how you slice it, you do have an impact. You have a direct impact. Even if you're a solopreneur, you have a direct impact on your family. You have a direct impact in the business community that you're a part of. There's an ecosystem that supports you and allows you to do the things that you need to do. There are systems and strategies and techniques that you've learned from other people that you are having now to deploy. So that community empowerment is going to be there whether you want it to be or not. So let's figure out how to rock out to it. Let's figure out how to align with the leaders that would help you create the initiatives that you need that will resonate deeply within your community so that you can foster better relationships, so that you can achieve and gain broader support for your initiatives. These are all the things, and there's so much more that you should get out of creating and maintaining a beautiful plan. You know, Everybody knows me as a coach, and as a coach, my job is not to create the plans for you, but to help you execute the plans that you've already created. That's clear to me. But the problem I run into over and over and over and over again is people don't have a good plan to start with. Now, there's more benefits that we're going to get into, but I'm not going to get into them today because we got a lot to do today. But what I want you to do is I want you to think through between now and next week, which of the benefits that we talked about earlier matter most to you? Clarity and focus, efficiency and productivity, enhanced decision making, improved communication and collaboration, greater impact and legacy, increased motivation and engagement, and finally, competitive advantage. Choose one. Think it through. Ask your friends and family or other supporters about that one idea. If you were to push forward just this week, right? What do you need to do? Who do you need to be? What resources do you need to have to help you in that process? This is my job. I ask those kinds of questions so that people can become aware of what their motivations, their desires are, and then they can articulate those things in a way that matters. We're going to get into the last two benefits next week as we move on talking about planning. And of course, we're talking about the benefits of planning. But next week, we're going to get into the mindset, right? We're going to finish out the benefits. We're going to get into the mindset that you have to be excellent at planning, at strategizing, right? Seeing the big picture and figuring out where you fit and how you should move forward in that picture. That's what planning is all about. Okay, guys, I got a couple things I got to get to this weekend. It's going to be a hectic space for the coach, but I so appreciate and dare I say love that you spent the time and attention with me. I hope that you gained something from it. I hope that you love Joseph's story. Because I'll probably tell it again next week to start the process off so people can get a framework for what planning can do for you. And we're gonna call it a good night. Bye everybody. This is Coach Powell. I'm signing off. I hope you had a great one. I know I did. Peace.